I'm Elijah Strand. I'm Jacob's brother, Athena's uncle. There are no words that truly capture the devastation that Tanner Horner caused us and our family. What he took from this world is not just a child. He took a light, a future, and a piece of every single person who loved her. He took a granddaughter, a daughter, a niece, a cousin, and a friend. She would call me Uncle Elijah because she, for the longest time, couldn't say the Elijah part of my name. It was the best thing to see her running up to me with her arms open, yelling, "Uncle Elijah." And that's one of my last memories I have of her. And now I get to never hear that again. Athena was more than a headline. She was laughter, curiosity, kindness, and innocence. And she had dreams that she will never get to chase, birthdays that she will never celebrate, and a life she'll never get to live because of his actions. Our family has been left with an emptiness that can never be filled. I have 3 daughters, 2 that got to meet her and grow with her, and 1 that will never be. And he took that away from them as well. A cousin and a friend. He stole a sense of safety from all of us in our family. Me and my wife just got comfortable enough to let our kids play outside, and that's even in our backyard. It's not close to the road. He's robbed us of safety, peace, and our trust in the world, and forever changed who we are as a family. We are left with questions. They'll still never have answers. And we are left trying to honor a beautiful little girl whose life was taken in the most senseless and horrific way. Tanner Horner, I want you to hear this directly. You did not just take a life. You destroyed the family. You took a little girl who trusted the world and repaid that innocence with violence. You chose to cause pain that will last for generations. You say you found God. What you did to Athena stands in direct opposition to everything that you now claim to believe. In Matthew 18:6, it says, "If anyone causes one of these little ones to stumble, it would be better for them to have a millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned." That is how seriously harm against a child is judged. And you will be judged. You will face the wrath of God. But I want to know that you are nothing. You are a footnote in Athena's story. Her name will forever be remembered. Her name will forever be celebrated, and everyone will forget you. You wanted your 15 minutes of fame? You got it. And no one's going to remember you after this.
Before we begin, we need to say this very clearly. Today's episode and part 2 contain direct, honest discussion about the murder of Athena Strand, the death penalty, prison conditions, and the psychological realities of incarceration. We will not share pictures of her murderer, and he will only be referred to as inmate 999640. We will not be softening language to make difficult truths more comfortable. Some viewers may find this episode deeply unsettling or triggering. We encourage those viewers to watch another episode of ours or a softer, more diplomatic coverage of the trial. Ours will neither be soft nor diplomatic. And to Athena's family, with complete respect and compassion, we encourage you not to watch this episode. We would not hurt you more for anything in the world, and we will be using strong and correct language in this episode. Please note that if you do happen across us, you have our hearts. This conversation is not for those grieving her loss firsthand. This episode is directed towards the growing number of people who are expressing concern for the living conditions of the man who murdered Athena. If you feel like he should be treated humanely, please stick around to hear our side of things. If you think life without parole would see him spending his time in Gen Pop and prison justice would prevail, please stick around for those statistics. If you think protective custody would be better than death row, please stick around for the realities of what that looks like. If you hold any sympathy for inmate 999640 and you have already forgotten the cries of a 7-year-old girl, please stay to be reminded. We believe Athena deserved compassion. We believe her family deserves peace. And we believe justice should never center the comfort of the person who destroyed both. This episode will be honest, it will be uncomfortable, and it will not apologize for putting Athena first. Too many people have already started to worry about this new inmate sitting in a prison cell that he might not enjoy comforts. Not enough people are remembering about the little girl who never got to come home. We will not allow everyone to forget what inmate 999640 took away from this world and the brutal and torturous way he did so. Elijah Strand's words could not be clearer of the generational devastation that one deranged, vile, and evil individual caused. And you will find a brick wall easier to convince that this inmate deserves any comfort ever again in this life than us. Welcome back, Darkness Debaters. This is going to be a heavy episode, so strap in. How are you doing, Brandy?
I'm doing okay. It's been a heavy month following this trial. Here we are. We're ready to break it down with everybody and give you our raw, unfiltered opinion about everything now that it's all over with.
We want to start off by talking about Athena, though. We want to talk about who she was, some stories that her mother, Maitland Gandy, has shared about her. It's hard for me to say, oh, my favorite one, because so many were so adorable. But I do remember one that she shared that I giggled, and I shared it on our Facebook page too. Her dad is super outdoorsy. Athena's dad is Jacob. He would, Athena was the little girl wearing princess dresses, but playing in the dirt or fishing, in her beautiful little, she loved Frozen, Disney's Frozen. So in her beautiful little Princess Elsa dress, but digging worms up out of the ground. And her dad would take like gummy worms and kind of bury them a little bit in the dirt, and he would pull them up and start eating them. And so then naturally Athena would go home and tell her mom that they dug up worms and ate them out of the dirt. And Maitland would call Jacob like, really?
It reminds me of that video too she posted where she's sitting in the car with Maitland, and she says that she picked a flower up off the ground at school at the playground, and she ate it, and Maitland was like, ew, that dogs and animals, they poo and pee on the ground, and that's really nasty, you shouldn't be doing that. And she's like, well, I'm smarter than that, I know that there was no poo or pee there. And then she's like, well, Dad, at least I was smart enough not to eat a poison one. My daddy ate a poison one. And she said, it was just the funniest story. That Athena she was a bright, inquisitive, talkative. She really seemed to be smart beyond her years, and she seemed to be such a joy to be around. Her mom says that if you met her, you would love her, and in turn, Athena would love you too back. And I thought that was special, the epitome of you would want in a daughter.
Right. Yeah, for sure. You know, her dad's play. A lot of people have asked why Athena was with her dad, and I believe her mom was dealing with an illness. And Maitland and Jacob had such a wonderful, and Ashley, her stepmom, they had such a wonderful co-parenting relationship. You know, it was no big thing. It was no, you know, we got to go to court and fight. You know, they did what was best for her, for Athena. She always came first. Her dad had this place out in the country. We saw when Ashley gave her testimony. I've seen people say, why was she outside by herself? Why wasn't anybody watching her? Why was she out there all by herself playing? Well, there's a couple of things to think about. First, Athena was supposed to have been in her room folding laundry. She wasn't supposed to be outside by herself. But second, if you look at the map of their property, that driveway is hundreds of feet off the main road, and they lived on a cul-de-sac, on a dead-end road. So you're not going down. It's not like they lived on a busy highway and you could see that. You couldn't even see the house from the road, from the way the map looked. So she should have been plenty safe playing out in the yard, because you're not going down that road unless you have a reason. And you're certainly not going to go down that driveway unless you have a really good reason. The way it looked from the map, if you were driving past their driveway, you wouldn't even know there was a house down there. I've never driven past there, and I would encourage everybody, leave them alone. They've had issues with people going out there to their house. Their address, of course, is kind of public record now, and some people have driven out there. Don't do that. That's not okay. Think about how you would feel if your child got snatched out of the front yard of your place and then strangers started showing up. You would probably not appreciate that, especially if other children were there. She should have been perfectly safe out there. And that's a country kid thing to do, to go outside, especially when you're that far out. That's not any kind of bad parenting. That's not negligence or anything like that. She should have been safe. And when we start pointing towards what did they do wrong that caused this, that starts that cycle of victim blaming. Instead of us understanding that inmate 999640 was looking for a little girl, and he got the opportunity that day. And it is nobody's fault but his own. He's the one that chose it. He's the one that did it. So we're not going to sit and ask, why was she outside by herself? Or why did this happen? Why did that happen? The question you need to ask is, why was such a vile, filthy, disgusting individual around children? And the answer to that is because this was the first time that he acted out, that the law got involved. So this is not something anybody could have prevented or predicted that he was going to do. And it is certainly no fault of Athena's family at all. Not even a little bit, not even a micro little bit. Her family is nowhere near at fault. This is on him, 100%.
I agree. All on him. There's also was a lot I noticed going throughout the trial. And Maitland, she even addressed this too during the trial. There was a lot of AI doctoring of the images that was presented at trial. The one specifically where Athena's in the truck and inmate 999640 is driving. There seemed to be a lot of AI images doctored, where I saw one where she was standing right behind him, like hugging him from behind. There was one where like they were both like crying and stuff. There was one where they were laughing together. And some of these images got tagged. They tagged Maitland in these images. I would just like to say that, first of all, it was wrong to be creating AI fake images like that of that moment, of Athena's last moments on Earth before a vile, deviant monster snatched her up out of the middle of her front yard. And then somebody wants to go and alter images in a way that they were never meant to be. And then, on top of that, tag her mother, who has already dealt with unimaginable loss and having to live and sit through a trial that lays out every little detail of what happened to her daughter. And then you're going to tag her in those images for her to get online and see. I think you people who are responsible for that need to check yourselves, because I would dare say you were pretty close to that same level of vile as inmate 999-640. We have to do better. We do. We have to stop thinking we can sit behind a computer screen and be anonymous and just do whatever the heck we want. Not okay.
I see so many people, we see a lot of child victims in cases that we look at. I see so many people say things like, well, there's nothing we can do about it when all the politicians are doing it.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do about it because this is going on. And then you got people altering images. What were you trying to do? Make it look like Athena was happy? Because let me tell you what one of the witnesses that took the stand, who read the transcript of the hour, the one that wasn't released publicly, where inmate 999-640 said, "Shut up, bitch, before I come back there and hurt you. Shut up, or I'm going to hurt you. Shut up, bitch." That's what was going on in that truck.
Yes.
So if you're
after he SA'd her, after he tried unsuccessfully to, quote unquote, as he said, break her neck, after he tried to unalive her by holding his hands onto her neck, he proceeds to say these words to her.
And some sick little punk out here is going to take that image of her standing in that truck and make it look like she was happy to be there. I hope that comes back to you, because her family saw that. So I hope that comes back on you. I hope you never experience what this family has experienced, but I certainly hope that you reap what you sow. And I hope that you know also that you're not anonymous when you go online and do crap like that. And people do know who you are. Has nothing to do with me, has nothing to do with Brandy or Darkness Debaters. But we do want to warn you, you're not anonymous online. And inmate 999-640 can attest to that too. They had all of his stuff from his computer at the trial, where he was looking up her case.
Where he was looking up if FedEx trucks continuously record.
So if you think you're anonymous or nobody will ever find out what you did, that's just not true. The law has amazing technology. Speaking of that, I want to bring up the law enforcement that were involved in this investigation. It's such a strange thing for me to say this, that I was watching that trial and that kind of grizzled, hardened sheriff getting choked up talking about this case. This was the case that caused him to retire. This was it. He did not run for re-election. He's done. That's how bad this was. This man was a Texas Ranger. I think did he work for the Highway Patrol too? I think.
I honestly don't recall.
I can't remember. I feel like he had been a Texas Ranger. He was a sheriff, and I feel like an officer of another type. So you can imagine the kind of things that he's seen, you know?
Yeah, he had a lot of years under his belt.
Yes. But this was the case that broke him. And I want to applaud how seriously he took this and how dedicated he was to finding her. Ranger Espinosa, that they should send anybody in law enforcement that's signing up to be in law enforcement, they should send them to follow him around to learn how to be a great officer of the law. That man right there is my personal definition of a lawman. He's not just a Texas Ranger. He's not just an officer or cop or sheriff's deputy. He is a lawman.
I agree. He was willing to do anything. He was willing to play inmate 999640. He was willing to play his games.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to bring up zero. He said, "Let's tango. We'll do zero."
Right.
You know.
He was amazing with that. Ranger Espinosa was so remarkable the way he approached that and said, "Oh, that guy's name, I don't want to talk to you. I need to talk to the other guy. I need to talk to Zero because he's got the information I need." And the way he played into that, I don't know how he held it together on the stand. You could hear it in his voice a few times. He was doing everything he could to stay composed and professional. But what an amazing man!
Amazing.
What an amazing man! If every officer we had was like him, we would have no issues.
We need more Ranger Espinosas in the world.
We definitely do. And the prosecutor, he was something else.
He was.
He his opening statement. It was it was kind of getting everybody prepared. He was like, we've got the audio of what he did to her. You're going to hear that. He did all these bad things, and we're listening. And some of this, there was a pretty tight gag order on everybody that things didn't get out. So we're hearing a lot of this stuff for the first time. And I absolutely broke when he said that she fought with the strength of 100 men.
Yeah.
I absolutely broke.
And the part where we weren't sure. We kind of thought that maybe inmate 999640's story of him backing into her and that whole story, which we learned in the trial was all a lie. We kind of thought that because everything was so sealed and tight-lipped. We learned that wasn't the case. And then when in his opening statement, he told us that there was DNA, his DNA, and places on a 7-year-old where that his DNA should not be.
Right.
It broke us. I know it broke me. I know it broke you. It broke everyone. And to show the picture of Athena in the truck, and you saw that she had not been injured. You saw that she had not been hit. You realized that he latched on to an opportunity to snatch her up, where unfortunately and sadly she was at the wrong place at the wrong time. You realized what kind of true vile monster inmate 999640 is.
When the prosecutor, when prosecution presented the Barbie dolls and the names, the name of those dolls was "You Can Be Anything." That was hard. A little set of Barbie dolls that her stepmom ordered for her for Christmas, called "You Can Be Anything." And it was those Barbie dolls that got dropped off at the house. It was those Barbie dolls that he brought out there. It's just another kick in the gut, you know. It's just one more kick.
Yeah. Those first 2 weeks of trial where it was all prosecution, it was like, man, how can this get any more hard? And it seemed like the further we went along and we learned a little something else, it was even harder going on those first 2 weeks. It was just unimaginable.
It just got worse and worse. I mean, it just got worse and worse. We stopped asking, right? And we stopped saying, okay, well, maybe now, you know, that was all the bad stuff. So the rest is going to be just kind of technical and, you know, but it just got worse. I mean, it was like there was no end to how bad it was. We found out from other witnesses that read the transcripts that spoke to the jury, that spoke to the jury about him explaining to her how to perform oral sex on him. Like we said, calling her a bitch, threatening to come back and hurt her, her screaming and crying, gasping, waking up and gasping, crying for her mom and her dad. There's a lot of things about the trial that will never leave us. We'll remember forever. Kudos to the county for setting the jurors up with counseling. I know they're going to need it. They saw and heard a lot more than we did. So I'm glad that they're going to get that counseling. And I'm so glad that the judge sealed everything that he did, because people are disgusting and they're cruel. Like we know about the AI images that they doctored and tagged her mother in. My biggest worry, if those records were not sealed, or that audio, is that somebody would think it would be funny to send that to her family, especially like her little sister. My mind, that's where my mind went, because he ain't the only one out there that's sick like that. And even people that think they're being funny and, oh, I'm going to send this to her little sister, that's going to be so funny. Or some people just do it just to be cruel.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that all that's sealed. I'm really glad that all of that's sealed and no disgusting, vile person can just send it or tag them in it.
I know that he has years of appeals, but when all that's said and done, I hope somebody drops that into a fire somewhere and completely destroys it, because from the people that did have to listen to it and did stay in there and listen to it, they said that it's something you will never ever forget. And I cannot even imagine.
Me either.
I truly can't.
Just reading descriptions, hearing other people say the descriptions, I don't know what it would have been like to actually hear it in her voice. That's something completely different. Before we end this episode, I do want to say, so I get it. We don't like the defense. We don't like the people that were defending him. I understand. We don't like them. However, we need to be really glad at the job that they did, because they represented him to the best of their ability. They objected everywhere. They brought on a ton of witnesses on his behalf. Before anybody gets upset or thinks that I think what he did is defendable, it's not. But our law says he deserves a defense. And here's the thing. That would be the first thing that an appeals court could either order him a new trial, or he could get a sentence commuted for incompetent, not incompetent, but basically where his defense team didn't do their job. We needed him to have the best defense he could have had. We needed that defense to be super strong, and it was.
It was. I mean, they were specialized death penalty public defenders, and I for what they had to work with, I gotta say, I think they did a great job for what they had to work with.
Yeah. And that's going to be the thing that holds that death penalty conviction. That right there. There was, if you remember the case, I can't remember the woman's name. She got sentenced for overdosing a child on Benadryl at her daycare. Her sentence just got commuted because they found out that some of the evidence that was gathered wasn't gathered the right way. That's something that her defense team didn't research and didn't look at the first time. And that's how easy it is for a sentence to get overturned like that. That's how easy it is. She's going to get a new trial, I believe. We're all angry right now, and we're all mad, and we are fired up, and we've just heard this trial. The judge allowed us to sit in on it. If an appeals court decides he deserves another trial
In 10 years.
in 10 years, people are not going to be as fired up. There's going to be people who have passed away who don't show up to talk to him. There's going to be a strong possibility that the next jury would not give him the death penalty, that they would say he deserves life without parole. So I want to say, don't send death threats to the defense team for doing their job, helping ensure that his sentence is upheld. You have no idea how important they were, how instrumental they were. You don't have to like that they defended him. You don't have to like it. But you do need to respect it. Because if they had not done their job, chances are that that sentence would not stick. As it stands, I would be shocked if an appellate court said that his attorneys did not represent him properly. I would be so totally shocked. I don't think that's going to ever come up. So if they can't find a technicality, they can't find anything like that, then all of his appeals are just going to get denied. I'm thankful for the defense for that, because by doing their job, they have ensured that justice is going to be done. What he did was not defendable. And that's why he got the death penalty. But that doesn't mean that they didn't make sure they still did their job. And I'm glad they did. And the next episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the people who are saying he should just get life without parole. And when he's in Gen Pop, he'll get prison justice. We're going to talk about what that would actually look like. So that's going to do it for this episode. Me and Brandy are going to take a couple of deep breaths, and we will really be looking forward to this month's episode of End of the Weird.
Yes. We needed to step back for a little bit and take a deep breath from all the heaviness. So stay tuned for our next Into the Weird. It's a fun one. I'm supposed to say. Oh, yes, go ahead. Oh, I was going to end it, but if you had something else to say.
Oh, I was just going to say next Sunday will be part 2, and we will close out with our thoughts and everything on the trial, what we witnessed. The next episode specifically, we are going to be really kind of addressing the people that want his sentence commuted to life without parole or want him to have better living conditions. We're going to specifically be covering that.
Yeah. So, until next week, darkness debaters, keep shining that pink light for Athena. And don't forget to flood the feed pink. All the pink. Teddy bears, all butterflies for Athena. Yes. Bye, everybody. Bye.